Everybody, this is Alex Deploy from Expert Forex. Welcome to today's discussion on high-level forex system testing. It's 7 o'clock in the morning here in Australia, bright and breezy, and it's difficult to find a time for everybody in our international business, in especially the UK, South Africa, Americas. Sometimes these times do not always suit people. So let's move straight into high-level forex testing. And I was quite surprised, actually over the years I've been quite surprised at the amount of, or the lack of testing that forex traders do on their particular systems. And I just want to go through the process that I would normally take when I assess a new forex trading system. And again, this is a very personal approach. This is the approach that I use. Other people use different approaches, but when I get a new system, the first thing I do is I just do a bit of high-level testing. Just test it out, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Just have a look at whether the system works or not. Then if I'm pretty happy about that, if it's successful, I go into detail testing. If it's not successful, I don't throw it away. I actually just keep it and replace it with another new system, but I do file it away because it might be that at this particular time that the market isn't suitable for this particular system, so I don't turf anything out. I keep them. Then we go into detail testing. So once I'm happy with the high-level testing, I go into detail testing, and we'll do that at a future webinar. During the detail testing, we'll optimize. I optimize and refine, and then I actually push it back into high-level, do a high-level test and go back in there, and it's a continuous loop until I can decide whether it's a failed system or a successful system. Normally at this point I can actually make most systems profitable, and then we can move into that mode. But if not, and it very seldom happens, I would then again just file it away and replace it with a new system at the top here. So that's the process. And then after that I would go into live or demo testing. These days, because of the micro accounts, I very seldom demo test or demo trade. I go straight into live and just set it for pennies rather than dollars, and that's as good as demo trading. And again, some things might come out in live trading that don't come out in detail trading, and you might want to optimize and go through the whole process again, or you be very or it fails at that point, and then you'd also keep it, and hopefully it's successful and you can achieve your actual goals. One of the things that I also do for every single transaction that takes place is you do I do a post-mortem. So I take the transaction after the trading session and I look at the transactions. I say, could I have done better? Could I have squeezed more out of the transaction? Could I have managed it better? And I do a post-mortem, and constantly by doing this every transaction, you will realize if there are changes in the market, changes in market behavior that's causing this system to underperform, or there might be also, it's a check on yourself to make sure that you're still complying with the system and seeing all the correct things that are happening in the market. So postmortems are also pretty much part of the testing process, and a very important part. A lot of people have a negative transaction, and they are so despondent after that they just don't do anything and move on and go and start trading the next day. But postmortems are pretty important. That's the market talking to you and telling you, giving you feedback on how your trading is going and feedback on the system that you're using. So that's the overall system testing process that I use, and you can also apply this most probably the same logic to an EA or something like that, but I mainly focus on manual traded systems, and this is the process that I follow. Again, a warm welcome. I see there's quite a few people that have joined in the last 5 minutes. Welcome again, and please, if you do have any questions, comments, remarks, please shoot them through and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is testing a very simple system. I'm going to introduce a new system for testing, and it's using a 13 simple moving average based on the close to enter any crossover closes. In other words, if the price moves over the moving average and closes on the other side, you would enter and you will stay in the deal until you've either hit a stop of 20 pips or a target of 20 pips. So it's a very simple system, but you would also use a 12 pip following stop, and you would not enter if the entry is more than 12 pips away from the moving average. And this is more or less a scalping technique. It's going to be used on 5-minute charts, and we're going to scalp the market. So that's the system that I'm going to be using as an example today for us to test. Let's get the charts out and start doing that. Oh, I see there's been some really nice moves on the euro in the US session. Let's see, what does this trend look like? 170 pip a trend, very unusual to get that kind of a trend in the market these days. So that was a really good trend and in the US session. Okay, so essentially let's start the testing process. So the first thing you do is you actually load the moving average, and I think we've got a, let's see, a 13 moving average. It's on a simple, it's on the close, and we'll make this one blue, and in it goes. So there we are. There's our moving average that the system says we must use. And just look at what would have happened yesterday. We would have had a nice little run up there. Unfortunately, it would have taken us out there, and we could possibly have got into that second run there. So just at a very high level, I'm already seeing some really nice transactions happening. You can see some nice ones, and there's another one, nice one happening down there. But at the same time, you can see a few whipsaws. You can see it going up and down and over and around the moving average. So although there are nice positive transactions, I can also see a couple of most probably ones that are suboptimal. In fact, maybe not as bad as they look, but they could be suboptimal. So at a high level, the first thing you do is load the system onto your charts and just have a look at it. I mean, look, there's a terrible situation where a lot of whipsaws are happening, and that could also be a whipsaw. That might not qualify in terms of our 12 pip rule, but at a very high level you can see there's potential for the system. Here's another big run that got caught. There's another nice run. There's another nice run. There's a bit of a messy one. Nice run there. So the system is starting to look reasonable, and I'm getting a feel of what is involved. And as you can see, I'm just doing very high level, just looking at it. There's a lot of whipsaws happening right there. What we'll look at are things like, what time of day do these whipsaws occur? And obviously we need to stay away from those whipsaws. And what time of day do these fantastic moves happen that you want to catch using this particular system? Okay, so that's the first step. Just plain load the system onto your, so this is an easy system. It's only one indicator. So what you would do, if you've got 5 indicators, you'd load them all on and you just play around. You just have a look. Oh yeah, that was a nice run. I would have made a profit there. That's most probably a good one. That was a good one. That was a very nice one. Yes, the system has got potential, but it also has dangers which we need to stay away from, and we'll come to that in our refinement and optimization phase. So the first step, load the system. Let's just go through that. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be prepare the charts and do an overview, and that's what I've just done. I've just added the indicator and done a very high level overview. Then we're going to customize the charts to our needs. Now that's going to be my needs, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Then we're going to actually mark some transactions and assess them. After that, we'll review the results for the need for improvements, filters, setting changes if needed, and then decide whether to proceed with a more detailed testing. And even these improvements are going to be at high level, not to the level that we'll do in detailed testing. So these are the steps that we're going to be doing today, and at the end of the session we need to decide whether to proceed with more detailed testing later on. Okay, so where are our charts? There they are, back again. Okay, so the first step, just load the system onto the charts, and let's go to step 2. Now step 2 is customizing the system to your needs. And as I said earlier, I'm based in Australia near Sydney, and my needs are really that I like trading the European session. I don't like trading the US session because it robs me of a lot of sleep. It's basically 1 o'clock in the morning when the US session starts really rolling here, and that I just don't have that kind of enthusiasm to trade a whole morning long in a market like that. So I find the US market, the UK market is fine for me. I don't trade the Asian market, slightly not as volatile as the other markets. Obviously the US market can get quite volatile and might be worth trading, but I like trading the early European market. So I like trading starting 2 hours before the open of the London market, and I then trade another couple of hours after that. So it's about a 5-hour session. Now what I've marked here in this green or lime color is the times that I prefer trading. So it's really from about 6 GMT to about 11 GMT. Those are the times that I prefer trading, and it is pointless testing the system in other times if you're not going to trade it. This is a scalping system. These are the times I'm going to use it, and that's why I'm testing them in this particular. If I were to consider the US, then I would obviously test in the US session, but for today's purposes, very important to customize. Don't just go and blandly test it overall. You'll end up wasting time testing it in the Asian and the doldrums and those kind of times. Just focus on the times that you are going to trade. So again, back to the rules. Essentially, when the price, and here's an example, when the price crosses over the moving average, I would enter the deal and stay in it until either my stop of 20 is hit, my target of 20 is hit, or the following stop of 12 is activated and stopped out. So there's two ways of exiting my transactions, and that is by following stop, or by the target being hit, that's exiting them positively, and then the other way of exiting is negatively when the stop gets hit. Very simple system. Okay, so first, the second step is to customize your needs on the actual charts. So then we'll move on to the third step, and that is to identify trades and evaluate them. Now what I'm doing here is I've just taken the euro. It's the most traded currency. I'm on the 5-minute charts. I've marked my particular times that I'm going to be trading, and what I'm doing here is I'm then at a very high level. So I'm not going into detail. I'm not actually trading it. At a very high level, I'm identifying deals. And so according to the rules, when it crosses over the moving average, you enter, and I like entering on the close of the candle after it's happened. So I would enter there, and then at a high level what I do is I'll just go like this, and I'll say, oh, the stop hasn't been hit, so the target must have been hit. So this is a positive deal, and the kind of thing that I would do is then just add a tick. Right, that's a positive deal, and then this is still part of the deal, so you can't enter new transactions while you're in a deal. So you wait for your deal to mature, and it must probably matured up there somewhere, and you lost out on that particular run. And that's one thing we'll look at during the refinement exercises, is giving away sometimes quite a lot because we're only going for a 20 pip stop. So the next deal, down it comes, crosses over. You must probably enter there. because it did close on the other side of the moving average. So you enter there and you say, has this deal gone positive or negative? So very quickly you can just say it went 20 pips positive, but you've got to add your spread of 2, so it activated the following stop, but did not hit the target. It missed the target literally by 1 or 2 pips. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up just to differentiate following stop outs from targets. So that one was positive, but did not hit the target. So the next opportunity is most probably could even have been that candle. You see, in detailed trading, we'd be able to we go into that particular detail. I'm just doing high level stuff here, and we have a look. I definitely hit the target, so we can give this one a plus, and I'm using the most latest information available on the euro, so I haven't chosen the best trading environment that I can find. Okay, and then it went across and crossed over again, and we say, okay, right, that's good, let's go in there, and quite obviously it didn't hit the stop, so it must have hit the target. Enter there. The stop it only went about 10 negative. We can give that one a plus. Okay, so at a very high level, all I'm trying to do is firstly get a feel of the system, apply the rules. So it's very important that you know the system very well, apply the rules, and see what would have happened if I traded it yesterday. Just as simple as that. And recreate your trade yesterday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back a couple of days, because you cannot make a decision on one day's trading. You can't do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start just a list, and I'm going to say, okay, what have we achieved? And this is just an old Excel spreadsheet. You can do it with anything. You can do with a piece of paper. You can do in Excel. So we got one positive, one positive, one positive. So we got 3 positives and one. We got no negatives, and we've got one following stop out. Again, high level testing. So that's the result for that. Now, given that the positives are 20 pips, and so we've earned at least 60 pips on yesterday's trading using just a comment that's coming. You started trade 3, 1, 2, 3 before trade 2 was hit the stop. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but just watch my fingers very carefully. There's no smoke and mirrors in this. There's trade 2. You enter there. It goes 21 pips positive, and then gets stopped out around about. Yeah. You happy with that? So we entered deal 3 after it got stopped out by the following stop. So it hit the following stop of 12. So 21 minus 12 is 9. It got stopped out round about there. Are you happy with that? Thanks for that observation. But it certainly got stopped out before we entered deal 3. But that's a good observation. We don't have 2 deals going at the same time. All right. What I'll do is I'll just revise our rules again, just to make sure everybody's on the right. So we're using a 13 simple moving average based on the close, and we're entering crossovers, closes, until the 20 pip or the target or the 20 pip stop is hit, and we are using a 12 pip following stop. We don't enter if the entry is more than 12 pips away from the moving average, and we're using the 5-minute charts to scalp the market. Okay, right, so let's carry on with that one. Just it's good to always revise these things. So there we've had a very good day. So let's move on to the next session. Now I've marked these deals a little bit early so that we know what's going on. So we start the day, the price is over the top, it crosses over, and we in the deal. And let's just see again, high level. Did it make the 20? Yes, it very easily made the 20. Then it crossed over there. And let's see if it made the 20 deal there. Yeah, it made it quite comfortably. Then it went over. Now we've got to check if this is more than 12 pips. well, no, it's less than 12 pips, so we're okay on that one, and we enter the deal there, and obviously it went positive. And then what's not that obvious is this one. Let's have a look if it hit the stop. I think the first thing is to just see if it hit the stop. No, it only went minus 12, so that deal also went positive. So we've got, let's mark them. We've got one positive there, one there, one there, and one there. Okay. All right. For high level testing, question that's come in: how many pairs would you check? Well, a good thing. Because you're doing it at high level, you can see the speed at which I'm going. I've already checked most probably 10 transactions or so. So you can choose. You can also assess what kind of currency to use. If it's this kind of currency where you going for 20 pips and that type of thing, you want a volatile currency, you would not use this on, for instance, the yen at the moment. I think at the moment the yen is still very docile and isn't moving much, but certainly currency selection is important. I'm not going to cover that in detail today, but you've got to select your currencies quite. I think we need to get the rules very, very clearly. When you enter, there are only 3 ways you can exit. It either hits your target, it hits your stop, or your following stop. So when it crosses over again, that's not an exit. I just want to be 100% clear. There's a lot of comments coming. Oh, but you entered here and it went back, so you should enter that. No, that's not how the rules work. The rules say if you're committed to a transaction, you are committed, mate. There are only 3 ways you can get out of this one. Are you happy with that? We must be 100% clear on the rules. Now, this is a good example of testing a system and not knowing the rules. You know, if you read the rules, and I've now read it I think 3 times, and people are still making mistakes about the interpretation of the rules. So it just shows you that the first step that you want to take is learn the rules 100%. And if you don't understand the rules, go and find the person that's given you the system or wherever you've got the system from, and really, really grill them about it. Say, look, but is this right? I mean, I entered here, it went back over, should I have got out? You know, you've got to be 100% sure about the rules, because testing something where the rules change or you're not sure, then you might as well not be testing. So 100%, thanks for making that point, sort of helping me make that point clearly. You have to be 100% sure about what the rules say. And that again means that to do this kind of system you need fairly mechanical rules. Okay, so let's move on to this day. So oh yeah, we didn't record our results there. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Four positive, no negatives, and no exits. All right, so by a quick calculation, we've got 7 positive trades. 7 times 20, we've made 140 pips in 2 days trading. So far the system looks quite robust, and as I say, I've just started trading it backwards from today, and here we go. All right, so this is a little bit more messy. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we start the day's trading. It crosses over from the top, closes on the other side, and this one doesn't look too good because it looks like it might have hit the stop. Wow, it's marginal. It's 19 pips, but if you add the 2 pips spread, it would have hit the stop. So we unfortunately here's our first negative, and that's great. You know, I mean, you must expect negatives, and a lot of people do this testing, and the first 3 transactions they do are negative, and you say, oh no, this is no good. You also have to cover a reasonable amount. Now, when I say reasonable, I would most probably do 20 days this way to get a feel of whether in using this particular system, I would most probably only I would trade it for 20 days to get a real feel for this. So that one was negative, and it was stopped out over there. So in other words, we could have entered it over there again. Entered it there, got stopped out there, so we entitled to enter it there. So we enter it there, And let's see what happens with this one. I missed that one. So definitely didn't go negative, but it certainly didn't go positive. So it was 19, so it would have 19, so it would have been stopped out. Minus 12 is 7, so it would have been stopped out around about there on a following stop. So that's a following stop, so that gets a thumbs up. It's not a positive, but it is a following stop out. So then it got stopped out. It got a similar situation as we had previously, and then we entered there. Let's see if this one got stopped out. So you quickly just go and look at the lowest point, and you see that's only 8 pips, and up there somewhere it would have hit the target around about there. So as you can see, I'm doing this very high level, not going into immense detail, although I think this is accurate enough to give you a feel of what's going on. We got stopped out there by hitting the target, and then it came down and we entered there on the crossover of this one, and obviously this one got stopped out. Let's see. Yeah, this one got stopped out. So we had 2 stop outs on this particular day. So let's go to our analysis. So it's 2 stop outs and 1 positive and one following stop. So it's 1 following stop, two negatives, and 1 positive. Okay, so on we go. And the other thing is that you need to do this fairly mechanically. You can't get emotion involved, and luckily it's history we're dealing with, so there's no chance of getting too emotionally involved in this one. And let's have a look. There's some questions that have come in, so I'll just deal with them, and then we'll just finish the next, say, 2 or 3, because I think you've got the idea of what's going on. All right, yes. Question that's come in: would your 20 days be conservative, or would you pick them over the last 6 months or so? Now, Ian, essentially what we're doing now is just high level testing. I just want to get a feel of the